Good morning. Happy Saturday. Hope everybody's having a great week. I'm going to talk about really something that was a bit of a struggle for me this week, just really leaning into new rhythms, especially when I had some off days that I didn't feel quite as productive as I had hoped. But something occurred to me, and I'm going to talk about it today. So when I think about Jesus, does the word productive really come to mind? And I don't know about you, but my answer is no. Of all the words to describe my Lord, that word isn't one I would choose if I was asked to describe what Jesus was like. But yet, Jesus wasn't lazy either. He never seemed hurried or rushed. He took time to rest, to eat, to go off alone and spend time with his Father. He spent entire days just sitting and teaching crowds of people. And he was also interruptible. He was able to change direction at a moment's notice to go heal a man's dying daughter. Even en route to heal that little girl, he allowed his path to be interrupted again to provide healing and public recognition of another woman's faith. Jesus is my definition of the most important person to live ever. And yet he was never frantically running around and still accomplished everything he came to do. So over the next couple weeks in my videos, I'm going to talk and look at a familiar passage to us. Matthew 11, verses 28 to 30, Jesus says, "Come to me, all you who are struggling hard and carrying heavy loads, and I will give you rest. Put on my yoke and learn from me. I am gentle and humble, and you will find rest for yourselves. My yoke is easy to bear, and my burden is light." I'm learning new things constantly and really leaning into this new path that Jesus has me on. But I'm also learning that it doesn't have to be a struggle. I'm excited about what I get to do every day. And even when some days don't go exactly the way I want, I really look forward to each new day as an opportunity to take just one more step. Wednesday and Thursday this week were really off days for me. I found it challenging to focus. I got some things done during the day that I had planned, but others I ended up spending time trying to do in the evenings or even pushed out a couple days. In the podcast I listened to yesterday, Amber Lily Estrom said, "Let's just let life be simple." And every day I'm actually getting a little better at letting that happen. I tend to have high expectations for myself. Some days that helps me keep moving, but most days it's ineffective at propelling me forward. And this week, I really had some days that I struggled with allowing myself to not accomplish everything that was on my list. But here are some things that I noticed that having a couple off days, a couple days where I slowed down even more than had been my norm, and that helped me see. First one is some tasks really can just wait till tomorrow or another day. The things that I, push myself to do are not always urgent. The world is not going to come to an end if these don't get accomplished today. And number two, the important things got done. The things that were really important to me that I really wanted to accomplish those days, I got done. And the things that were less important weren't worth stressing about. Number three, at the end of the day, I can be deliberate about looking at all that I got done instead of those few things on my list that I didn't. Reframing my mindset with that kind of positive energy drives me to keep going way better than berating myself ever does. Number four, I have a few more ideas for things I'm going to outsource to a virtual assistant in the future. And one more thing, I was able to hone in more on my superpower. I recognized something that was showing up in conversations with people I was coaching that's part of my unique ability that I wasn't valuing before. This is a new season for me, a season of recalibrating what my days look like, a season of learning to have a general flow to my days and weeks as opposed to a rigid schedule. It's a season of wild personal growth and also a season that's somehow more relaxing than almost anything I've known before in my adult life. So I want to challenge you with this thought today. How can you look at your life through the lens of Jesus' statement? I'm going to read it one more time. Jesus says, "Come to me, all you who are struggling hard and carrying heavy loads, and I will give you rest. Put on my yoke and learn from me. I am gentle and humble, and you will find rest for yourselves. My yoke is easy to bear, and my burden is light. So in the path that Jesus has you on right now, today, how can you start to look at it through that frame of releasing the struggle, of leaning into the easy yoke of what Jesus is asking you to do, and just really start to reframe and look at this season of your life in a new way? Talk to you later, guys. Have a great weekend.